I could open with that every week because it's always a crazy week. It's just
Some could say it's been explosive.
yeah, yeah. I mean, in that regard, when you're laying those down, sometimes as an autistic black man, you have to adjust your bra, you know, and lean from the hips, because you've got such wide hips that are your center of gravity. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We are talking about a black woman, which, well, anyway.
I was going to talk about a bombshell report, right?
Something. Anyway, Erika Kirk has specifically mentioned she's talked to Candace Owens. Not in person. They will be actually speaking in person tomorrow as of this recording. So Monday the 15th.
Oh. Okay.
And they've agreed that, and I'll just read from this here, Candace Owens and I are meeting for a private in-person discussion on Monday, December 15th. Real Candace Owens and I have agreed that at Real Candace O have agreed that public discussions, live streams, and tweets are on hold until after this meeting. I look forward to a productive conversation. Thank you. And that is...
I know that's going to go.
That's very magnanimous, all things considered.
Frankly, my suspicion here is that... I'm sorry, I'm just wrapping up there. My suspicion here is that Erika Kirk is basically waiting for the trial against what's his name to conclude before taking any legal action.
Oh, Tyler Robinson stuff.
Yeah, just for the facile nature of being able to point directly to a conviction and say, "There it is, shut up."
On that note, he's been acting quite smug in court.
Yeah, he's been a bit chipper, hasn't he?
There's a lot of weird shit to this, and there is the possibility that he's not the shooter. But even if that's the case, from everything I can see, there's like a 90% chance that it's him or people around him. If it's not him.
Given the fact that his DNA was found on the fucking trigger,
again,
I'm having a real hard time.
No, again,
seeing how it wasn't like him or his twin, which doesn't exist.
Well, that's the thing. It's the farthest I can
his DNA,
reasonably
his
see on this is like someone associated him. Like maybe it was the trans lover or whatever was actually there.
Well, no, again,
throwing it on him because
his DNA, his fingerprints, his confession. He was turned in by his parents, by his dad. Like the troon said, "Oh my God, I can't believe this happened," and skedaddled.
And we haven't heard.
The guy's got a big fucking smirk in court, like he got one up on the guy he killed.
No, the whole thing's like I said.
I'm not seeing how this is really that straight. Like sometimes shit just is cut and dry, easy to look at and say case closed.
I don't think you're quite.
Sometimes there's not a conspiracy. Sometimes there's not any.
Well, there is, and we know there is, but we don't know how.
Sometimes there doesn't need to be a more complicated conspiracy. Sometimes Occam's razor is very straightforward on this.
No, well, I'm not saying that it's not. It's just I don't think you're quite getting where I'm coming from with this. I'm not going all Candace and there's Egyptian jets.
I'm not suggesting you
everything.
are. I'm outright stating things generally.
That's fair. That's fair. It's just what I mean to say by this is that
as a baseline,
that even if there is fuckery afoot, and it seems there is fuckery afoot, who knows how much, it doesn't look like there's much more fuckery than it might have been someone in his immediate circle, and we don't know the full story of that. That's the deepest I can see things going for now. I haven't seen anything credible beyond that. And that's just the way it is. But anyway, we've got actual breaking news that we should probably share on this too. Not this, but on shootings in general, because there have been too many in the past few days. So there was the Brown shooting that happened just recently, and we have an ID on one of the victims. That is Ella Cook, who was the vice president of the Republican Club. We've got very little video on this absolutely surveilled campus. and we do have an ID on the shooter, potentially, as a Benjamin Warner Erickson with a whole bunch of social media accounts that are, big on DEI, gender equality, migrants.
I would expect that we're not going to see a whole lot of video for a while because the video will be turned over to DAs or FBI in general. And what largely comes out of that is you may show this, that, and the other amount, but the rest of it is held to not poison the well. You want to have a fair trial. Which, even though it's for a fucking school shooter, it's for the rest of us that we stick to the rules. So in order to prevent screwing up a jury trial and getting it declared a mistrial, because why give an asshole like that the opportunity? The video will probably be kept largely private until after the fact. I'm sure there's gonna be snippets shown that are released.
But that said, with everybody
also
that was
Brown
shouting,
is in a public university, so.
Well, we had a whole bunch of people that were shouting, "It's the guns! It's the guns! It's the guns!" And I think they're going to just.
I don't fucking give a shit what their opinions are. Fuck those people.
Oh,
fuck those people and everything they stand for. They can go fuck off. Like, the time to say that shit is in a month.
Well.
It's so fucking stupid when they start spouting that shit.
Well, on top of that too, is the fact that we have Brown as a gun-free zone, or a gun-free kill
Precisely.
zone, as I like to call it.
I'm tired of that shit. It happens in a gun-free zone so frequently. Why the fuck is that? Oh, it's because the gun-free zone doesn't do shit. All it does is prevent law-abiding citizens from defending themselves. Like, it's so asinine. It's just. How much more salt do you want to rub in the wound? These people are ingrates.
It's like, this is what you wanted. You wanted these people disarmed. Well, they were disarmed. And guess what? Same goes for Australia. Rights,
and then at the end of the day, they're dead.
Same goes for Australia and Bondi Beach. You wanted these people disarmed. They were disarmed. There you go.
How'd the guy get his gun?
Oh, God.
I think that's an excellent question Australia should be answering, because they got rid of all the guns, didn't they?
Well, that's the funny thing. Actually, I do have an answer for you on that, Craig.
More guns than people.
Well, no, I have an answer for you as far as the Bondi Beach situation. He passed the rigorous background checks. Yeah, he passed all the
background checks, yes.
He was perfectly approved, and, he's an upstanding... outstanding citizen of Australia and deserves those rights or whatever, right?
You know what their answer to that is, right? It's take away the rest of the guns. Fuck these people. These are the same kind of assholes who are out in California, which had another shooting, by the way. Someone did a drive-by at a Jew's house, just shot into it, middle of the night. Same people who would say, just like those cretins over in California, up and down the Pacific Coast, that you have a duty to retreat, that you have to go and find a corner in your house to crawl back to, or climb out a window and escape your own fucking property.
Yeah, you literally have to be cornered.
That's what these assholes want you to do. That's what these assholes want you to do. They want you to go and find a way to get us to escape and just leave yourself defenseless otherwise. And the thing is, it's not just, it's unfortunate that you didn't retreat all the way and you shot him. It's now you're in the crosshairs for defending yourself.
Oh yeah, they'll come after you
for saving your own fucking life.
They will crucify you if you do the right thing and defend yourself. There's a fella some folks know had a wise thing to say once. Something about selling your cloak and buying a sword. He had a lot of good things to say, that guy. And in this Christmas season of giving, perhaps.
Well, Christmas, you say. Christmas, I hear, is canceled if you're in France. Why is that?
Well, no, it's not canceled. It's just you can't celebrate publicly because, they have these trucks of peace that are, out spreading peace and joy.
Yeah, you notice that there were the pylons of peace that were out in the market in London, as you do every year now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Prevent the trucks of peace from entering. Yeah. And then it looks like those aren't going to be enough. It looks like they're probably going to start walking back some of those celebrations too. I mean, they only have a guy who despises it in charge of the city. I don't know if you saw him trying to do the caroling and he realized he had to sing some things he didn't agree with.
I did not,
Suddenly he was apoplectic and perplexed. He was slightly vexed as to how he was going to handle that situation while he stared incredulously at the paper. Sadiq Khan is emblematic of the problem. Once they get one of those motherfuckers into power and they have the population basis to keep them there, they will continue to keep their guy in power until they can dissolve the democratic rule.
And
that is the MO.
Oh, and on top of that, with a disarmed populace, there's quite literally nothing they can do about it. Good luck voting your way out of that, trucks. Brits.
They can dodge the trucks. Good luck, guys. Because you notice, here's the thing. When they can't go around pillars to get to you, they'll just go into the buildings.
Or they'll carry a vial of acid or a knife or what have you.
No. I don't mean on foot. I mean they'll take the fucking vehicle and they will drive into the buildings.
Oh, that's fair.
Look at the first terror attack on the Twin Towers. What happened? He fucked up his mixture, but he still tried to set it off.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But as Bats is mentioning here too, there is an important part of the Bondi Bay incident that we should, or Bondi Beach incident that we should probably discuss, and that is that there were in fact
the motives.
Well, no, actually, the event itself.
I don't know if we've been able to discern one yet. It was only a Hanukkah celebration at a whole bunch of beachgoers who were not Muslim, and the guy came out shooting, saying Allahu Akbar.
Well, not that specifically, no, but revealing nonetheless. And that would, of course, be that there were, in fact, armed offenders on the scene, police officers who are empowered.
Oh, the people we're supposed to allow to defend us. I hear that they're very good at this job. Exactly how effective were they?
Well, I would refer to a Professor Samuel Hyde and his dissertation on female police officers. I believe it was a cop who disarmed one of them, was it not? Wasn't it a cop that disarmed one of them? I think I might be confused here. Well, it was...
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was just a random guy.
Yeah, it was not one of the armed female police officers.
The only thing he did wrong was he didn't shoot the fucker when he had the chance.
Well, he probably didn't want to go to jail for, defending the public.
The problem over there. I bet that the reason he set the gun down on the tree was probably to just dispose of it as not his property.
Well, he wouldn't want to get shot, having, being a person holding a weapon. And, not...
Well, obviously. The female cop might have tried to taser him, and you know how that goes.
Oh, I do. Taser. Pow, pow, pow! Yeah. I've sadly seen it too many times. Too many times.
It's really frustrating that that's a meme. Like for good reason. It's not unfounded.
Yeah. Very, very sadly. Very sadly, that is exactly it. Oh,
so as I was saying before we went live, before we start recording, if only there was a single simple phrase to sum up all the shit that's been going on. It goes something like globalize the Intifada.
I was going to say anarcho-tyranny, but
it's not. It says that the thing that people don't quite get is the whole Intifada, the first two of them happening in Israel. That's happenstance. They hate Christians too. They hate Buddhists. They hate Jains. They hate Hindus. Anybody who is not following Islam is in their crosshairs. Jews, they have special commandment to slaughter, but they are not allowed to punish them with killing for the most part. Christians, on the other hand, are pretty explicitly punished with killing. See, with Jews, you don't need a punishment; you just do it. You just kill them.
Well, I've noticed that there's a growing distaste for that particular demographic, which is healthy. As long as, people keep their diet balanced.
Speaking of distaste in demographics, Somalis
Any particular Somalis?
Well,
by chance, because there is actually, a little bit of news regarding very specific Somalians.
Yes, well, Somalis, and yes, they several leaders tried to. Well, I say try. Well, I say try, but they did. What I would say, as more of an individualist, I would say it was a bit silly, but I think I appreciate the gesture. Apologizing on behalf of the Somali community, and that they, in their statement said that they need to take ownership of the issue and call it out. So while it might not be necessarily their.
Quick question: by the issue, do you mean Ilhan Omar saying that she somehow didn't marry her brother, although we have the records of it, or do you mean a different?
No. I mean the over $8 billion of theft.
Oh, you mean the rampant fraud and theft from American citizens that was given to terrorist organizations? Oh, that, right?
Yeah. The part where they made Minnesota taxpayers the largest funders of Al-Shabaab.
Yeah, that was a thing that happened. And is ongoing, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, and what was it? 78 of the 81 that have already been, caught up in the justice system, being Somali. That came to their attention. I couldn't imagine how. And the thing that I liked was that, they acknowledged that the anger that came from Trump when he talked about garbage people, etc. While it might have been blunt, it was not unfounded. And I think that shows that there's some self-reflection, at least a bare minimum, going on somewhere. And while it might be a handful of people who probably don't represent, the other 90-odd clans that have come over.
And with them, they've brought us such wonderful.
The bare minimum of lip services being paid. That's what I'm getting to there.
Well, one of the cool things about bringing over so many different clans, which, for instance, like Ilhan Omar's clan, was they were the ones that were the ruling communist party that was overthrown. And, the rich rulers.
Yeah. Her dad was a fucking warlord, effectively.
Yeah. And then, of course, they
ran away from angry people that were trying to get justice.
That is exactly what happened. Yes.
Oh, so also here's something to clear up. To edify. She attained citizenship in the U.S. Under her dad, since her dad was accepted in as an asylee, and that in theory happened because she was a minor at age 17. Even though there was a potential dispute from a website saying that she was either 18 or 19 at the time, which would have meant that she didn't get citizenship. But that notwithstanding. The marriage and immigration fraud issues, which also then thereafter includes tax fraud, and also potentially voting fraud if the earlier citizenship thing isn't resolved. The thing at the primary immigration, marriage, and tax fraud concern is her trying to get her brother citizenship in the United States as a UK national. So she married him. And then, about the time NCIS was doing their deep dive into him, he fled the country back to the UK.
Yeah.
And then she waited like another 5 years to divorce it, right when she was running in 2018.
Oh, just in time.
She divorced him in 2017? I
think so.
In any event, he fled the country, 4 or 5 years prior. So Obozo was still around to protect his ass. So he's back in the UK, and this is Ahmed Nur Saeed Elmi. That's her brother. Now, there's speculation, of course, probably her half brother. That's her brother.
That changes so much.
Exactly. So here's the funny part. Free Beacon and the White House republishing the headline with their post on the Rapid Response 47 account. They did not put any alleged or anything like that around it. They just outright said she married her brother, which is true.
Yes.
The documents attesting to this have been around nearly a decade in public.
We've reported on them ourselves a number of times.
And Steve Crowder was one of the people who published it about a decade ago. So this has been a well-known, well-documented thing for well over a decade. It's a thing. So the funny thing is that since there's no alleged or anything, that basically says not just that they have the documented evidence, not just that there's been speculation and people have talked about it, for years and years and years. It's concrete fact. And that's an absolute defense against defamation in court. So there's, you can add in all the rest of it as disparagement, if you will, but the founding part of it, the core of it, that she married her brother, is decidedly true. And the court records to that effect, so that the marriage license, etc., like that, all that shit exists. It's all public. It's all published. And it's still ridiculous that people will say that's either conspiracy theory or that you shouldn't say that, you're Islamophobic, which is the funnier one. And I'm sorry, but a culture that highly encourages marrying your first cousin, marrying your brother, I could see that as a step too far. Holy shit.
Yeah, a little bit of baggage there, you might say.
It's just, what a brother fucker.
It's a real son of a bitch, as it were.
Oh, or brother.
Well, yeah, it's one of those. I'm not sure exactly what the familial terms are there, but yeah, one of those things.
A sister, father, mother, brother.
Well, I guess the best. Well, they're just keeping it in the family. It's well,
the good thing is
it's the good thing
about keeping it in the family. About the keeping it in the family part, the good news is that Ilhan Omar never conceived from her ex-husband.
True.
So, or was it both of her children are with the person that she married after him?
So it's the little things.
Yeah, that unlike the majority of the Pakistani population in England, or half of the population in Somalia, or half the population. It's going to go that way for pretty much everywhere else you end up. Unlike those populations, there's no congenital defect risk from inbreeding with her kids anyway. I believe one of her kids, her son, was stopped by, I guess, ICE just recently.
That's the news.
I think this week, and was promptly let go.
Unsurprisingly.
Right. Now, I don't really like, baseless profiling. But I think there's a basis here.
Well, if you're Somali and from Minnesota, you're probably committing a crime. Sorry, Somali.
About half the population being illegal in the first place. The other half being in the country for on the order of 30 years or born here.
And what is it? Something like 11 out of 8 are committing some sort of fraud or something like that?
Well, 80-something% are on food stamps and 70-something% are on... No, it was 70-something% are on food stamps, 80-odd% are on any government assistance. There's some stupidly large percentages on the housing assistance program, legitimately, quotes. They use EBT and SNAP, etc., to buy out at grocery stores and then sell for ingredients to then sell from the restaurant. Oftentimes what you'll find also is that there's a grocery store and a restaurant next to each other and the same people own them. So they will use their benefits. It's insane. They have... So a culture that is built on scamming has been given access to a high-trust society.
Yes, they have. With lots of safety nets for people.
And what do you know? the thing that they decide to do is, instead of building up other skills, they decide to flex that skill in overdrive, and build up their own infrastructure around scamming instead of infrastructure around doing legitimate business.
Wouldn't you know
and
it?
And some of them are just like loopholes that in a high trust society you don't feel. It's kind of like this. I'll put it like this. There were was it 20 some odd states that didn't have a law against bestiality until relatively recently, and the reason wasn't because they were fucking animals. It was because nobody needed to tell people to not do that.
Yeah, it's just one of those.
They had animal cruelty laws that already existed. They did not need a specific law against fucking an animal because that was animal cruelty. So
we didn't have to explain these things once upon a time.
Right. So in this case, it's the same kind of situation. You have people with an alien culture that are not assimilating and instead are acquiring the local tools to bend to their purpose. It's like using a fork as a pry bar instead of for eating food. Sure, you could use that piece of metal to do that, but that's not what it's for. It's not its purpose. We have pry bars for that.
That is true.
Kind of like, for stocking a fucking kitchen in a restaurant, we have wholesalers for that. We have people who sell directly to businesses, not a fucking grocery store. But they see that SNAP benefit as a cheap way of doing things, and it's like you could probably make better margins on buying food at a bigger discount than what the grocery store gets from its supplier. Or you could just buy directly from that supplier. Like, the cutting out the middle there by trying to double dip on the dollars, it doesn't help at the end. You're still paying.
And then, of course, we take the direct example of the restaurant that's owned by the friend of the Omar family that was doing that and then pumping that money back to the family directly.
Well, the other thing they do is the men, of course, since they follow Sharia, they have multiple wives, but they're only allowed to have one by law. So the rest of them are single mothers, because of course they have like 3 or 4 children with all of them.
And we've spoken
on that. So those single mothers are all on benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and the thing is, I say this as a generality, and it's unfortunate that is a generality. Of course, it's not all, but like, it's so fucking rampant. You wonder how that many people are on benefits in the community. That's how. Like, it really is a grift. And I get that there's a certain thing where you need to build up equity and wealth within a population in order to get it on its feet. But at the same time, it shouldn't be done in a scammy manner, and the benefits should be paid to people who are actually deserving of it.
Yep. Which
that's the thing is, as we talk about that,
that's actually being reviewed for that purpose. Thank goodness.
We talk about that over $8 billion that was scammed from taxpayers in Minnesota. Like, that could have been just not taxed and left in people's wallets, or it could have been used to help people in need. And the phrasing on this is going to suck because it's going to bite me in the ass, because it's in the most tepid of terms I can make it on this one. To her credit, when Ilhan Omar says that it hurts Somalis that these people took $8 billion plus dollars, yes. And yes, that would be frustrating as a Somali to deal with having that stupid stigma landed right on. But the fact is, it's the culture that they exist in. They are not integrating into society. They have isolated. A melting pot is where things melt into and diffuse out. It's not a fucking stew pot.
It is not.
That's the problem.
And it kind of wasn't ever even meant to be a melting pot, for that matter. But here we are, and even still,
well, the melting pot example
the opposite of that.
the melting pot example of New York worked out really well until all of a sudden it stopped working. You'll notice that the leadership kind of caused that about 40 years ago.
Yeah, some sort of immigration act of something or other.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So, like, they used to, the idea that you have, so like, there's something to be said about the idea that good fences make good neighbors, and that
good fences make good neighbors, and an armed society is a polite society on top of that.
And that a melting pot requires things to melt. So we have Little Italy, or we have Chinatown, right, in New York. Well, Chinatown is still not China. Little Italy is still not Italy. They're Americanized. They're integrated.
Well, they were integrated. They're getting less so, sadly. I wouldn't say that for Little Italy, but I would say that for like your non-Western
Chinatown's,
sadly.
Sure.
Like your little Somalis, your Chinatown.
Well, that's what I'm getting to right now. You get the point that the issue is Little Mogadishu, which is not like all of the Somali areas in Minnesota. It's actually a specific area. It's like 2 or 3 neighborhoods. That area in Minnesota, I think it's in Minneapolis. That area is particularly terrible. And obviously, also here's the other thing: it is peak coincidence that all 78 or whatever it is, 78 out of 81, all 78 of those Somalis that are on the hook, that are already going through the legal process, all of them just so happen to come from her district.
Pure coincidence.
100% coincidence. In no way were they told by Ilhan Omar in Somali during one of her pressers that she is there to represent them in Somalia.
Certainly not. Oh, and speaking of regional representatives, we should probably just real quickly mention, because it's related, Israeli rep Ted Cruz that has spoken on this recently, and I'll just read off directly from his tweet.
Ambassador to Israel.
Yeah, well, close enough. I don't know. He's from the state of Israel that's somewhere in Texas. I don't know where it is. I don't look at maps too closely, but anyway, old Ted had this to say, and he makes a great point here.
You say this stuff. I'm just pointing out, like, the funny business is funny and all, but at the same time, titles matter and boundaries matter. Good fences and all.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I hear they got razor wire down there, so at least there's similarities. But anyway, he's good times. Good Christmas charity times. Anyway, let me just read off of his thing here, because he actually quotes quite a lot, and it's directly related to it. So, if this is true, then Omar faces criminal liability under 3 different statutes: federal marriage fraud, 8 U.S.C. subsection 1325C. Federal law requires makes it a felony to knowingly enter into a marriage for the purpose of evading any provision of the immigration laws. Penalties include conviction can result up to 5 years in federal prison, a fine of up to $250,000 or both. The non-citizen involved would also be subject to deportation and permanently barred from receiving any future U.S. immigration benefits. State incest laws. All U.S. states prohibit marriage and sexual relations between close blood relatives, including a brother and sister. Minnesota law, specifically, as Ilhan Omar is representative from Minnesota and the alleged events are tied to the state, the relevant law would be Minnesota Statute 609.365. Statute defines incest as having sexual intercourse with another person nearer of kin than a first cousin with knowledge of the relationship. Penalties: incest is a felony, in Minnesota, and punishable by imprisonment up to 10 years. I
Specifically because of the harm it causes to any child conceived.
Oh, sure, but I'm just thinking,
By the way,
was the marriage consummated? I mean, this might be a concern.
Certain it was.
I mean, we do have, reporting out of societies like that just recently in the past week of a little girl that was, what was she, like 12, that was killed because the mother was thinking that she was too sexually attractive to the father. So, yeah, But anyway, one more point on this. Tax fraud, 26 U.S. Code 7206.1.
Yeah, probably filed jointly.
If a couple filed joint federal tax returns while not legally married, due to the marriage being void or still being married to another person, they could be charged with willfully making and subscribing to a false return. Penalties. This is a felony punishable by a fine of up to $100,000 or $500,000 if a corporation. So let's be fair, only $100,000. Imprisonment for up to 3 years or both.
So that he missed one here. He missed one important one here.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's not just her ex-husband who would be caught on that. It's also her as the person who sponsored him through a marriage.
That's another bit of baggage on that travel train.
Right. There. It's not just marriage fraud, it's also immigration fraud. 2 separate statutes. I don't remember the statute. I'm not going to bother looking it up. I just know it exists. So that's 4 different things. The incest one, disturbing as that is,
I mean, realistically, there's probably not there. I hope there's nothing there, but let's just hope there's nothing there and leave it at that.
Specifically because there is no known conception involved. Bottom of the barrel, bottom of the stack. The other 3, top. The other 3, pretty important. As far as her citizenship, I think that Trump's team should be hunting through to find if there is any trace to her specific birth records. Because if she wasn't 17 at the time she obtained citizenship, if she was 19, she's not a citizen. Because that was something that she had the wrong birthday, in air quotes here. She had the wrong birthday on her government website, and that was corrected, and then the web page was removed. 2 different steps there. When she was running for office. So either she had a minion put up the date and they fucked it up, which is entirely possible, or it was the correct date and then someone pointed out the issue with immigration and citizenship, and then it was adjusted, and then when someone said, hey, why'd you change it, she just removed the webpage. I'm guessing, that it's probably just going to be her word for a lot of this shit, but because I gotta tell you, like, where is the birth record for her? I mean, it would be from Somalia, and
that would be the place to
look.
At
a certain level,
from what I understand, they don't have the best record keeping over there.
Well, that's the thing I'm getting to, is at a certain point you're going to have to accept one of 2 things: either she's lying or they're lying, or they're both lying, if you insist that she is not a citizen. The alternative is that she might be telling the truth and they might be lying, or they might just not have a record and just say, we have no, throw their hands up in the air. We also, we're not, while we are friendly with Somalia to a certain degree, it's not like we fucking should be at this point. Look at what they're doing. So the whole like, just as an example of a microcosm over there to the north, you have the whole Sudan and Darfur thing. Like, the same kind of shit's going on. You have these issues where you have, the border disputes between Somalia and Ethiopia right next to it, right? Like, they are very hostile on
it's only generational blood feuds, Craig. What are you worried about?
So this is the thing where they are highly encouraged in their culture to marry their first cousins. That's how their clans form. Their clans are not very large, which is why it's so interesting that the one, the woke Jew that they had elected over there in Minnesota. It's why it's so interesting how he was able to capitalize on the fucking blood feud between 2 clans the clans aren't really that big, except over here, apparently they got quite large because they had the resources to have much larger families, I guess. So again, one father, several wives, several children each. You can see how after a couple of generations, when it's only been a couple of generations worth of time, barely, like 30 years in the country, right? For the vast majority of them that were kind of already here established as citizens, about 30 years, and then you have the recent crop that just came over.
Well, Craig, I have a proposal, as a matter of fact, not myself so much, a modest proposal, if you will.
A modest one, okay.
Oh, yes, a very, very modest proposal. This coming from Lord Falconer of the UK. And I'll include the clip here since, it's worth hearing the entirety of his speech. But just to quote, the most important part is that, quote, pregnancy should not be a bar, end quote, to medically assisted suicide. So, I think that Lord Falconer might be presenting to us a way to solve these problems. Maybe we need to think outside the box a little.
Well, I mean, it's if the box is our borders, then we can send them to Canada, I guess.
Well, they are a crown colony, so that might be a way to solve that problem.
Oh, that's terrible.
As you say.
That's fucking awful.
Problems have solutions. And these guys, they're just...
We're not looking for fucking final solutions here.
Well, maybe it's a coffee break. Everybody they all just decide to go take a coffee break one day. They want to go ride on the roller coasters and all that stuff.
Why are we sending him to Jonestown?
So anyway,
coffee break is just an adult's version of a Kool-Aid break, man.
Well, actually, speaking of Kool-Aid breaks, there's been a break in the long Kool-Aid break that has been Chile. I don't know if you caught this, but the good guys won. Oh yes.
Summer, man.
Jose Antonio, what the hell's his name? Jose Antonio Cast won, and everybody is calling him the far right candidate. So he's probably a pretty reasonable centrist dude.
Is he anything like Milei?
We don't know. I mean, he literally just won, if I'm not mistaken, earlier today.
Well, yeah. I presume he had a platform to run on.
Let me see if I can find anything. Okay, here we go.
that would be the thing.
Well, actually, I've got a little bit of his. It was him versus a literal communist.
I'm sure. I mean, it's Argentina, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, actually, I can read a quote from him here. It looks like in his part of his victory speech. Let me see if I've got a full.
That was a dark moment.
Oh, I've got a little bit of his. I've got a little bit of the speech here. Okay. Chile needs order in the streets, in the state. That is a long dash, you motherfuckers. There isn't a long dash on the keyboard. You have to, anyway. Everybody using.
If there is if you're using Microsoft Word, you just double tap dash and hit space. Anywho.
Right. Well, anyway, Chile needs order in the streets, in the state. You know what I'm implying. Order in the state, in the priorities that have been, lost. Cast below to link the victory speech.
All these people have to do is literally say, Bukele did a great job there. Look at how low the murder rate is. I want to do that here.
Yeah,
that is that has to be like the lowest bar for entry as a politician when someone else has laid out a fucking blueprint.
Hey, look over there. See that?
Simple.
It works.
It's simple shit. It's the same shit we've known about for fucking centuries. You punish crime, and the crime goes down. Oh my god.
Funny that.
You punish crime, the crime goes down. People work, they get to keep what they work for. Like, your shit is not everyone else's shit. And then don't do crime. This is like the bare minimum for a functional society. We've known this for over 2,000 years, 3,000 years. Like Hammurabi wrote about this shit on a fucking rock.
That's true. That's true.
You know, the fucking Ten Commandments has some of this shit in there. Like, this is basic stuff. Don't crime, be nice. Generally, don't be an asshole.
And just as a quick note, if you're too much
of an asshole, you get put into prison. Simple.
Oh my God, this is fucking AP. Let me just read this this run-on sentence. You're gonna love this. Cast, in contrast, in the previous article they're writing about the commie. Anyway, Cast, in contrast, is a devout Catholic and father of 9 whose German-born father was a registered member of Adolf Hitler's Nazi party and whose brother served as a minister in the dictatorship. That was so fucking necessary. Associated
well, actually,
Press.
I think that's pretty necessary as an interesting background there. Again, this is why I asked, what's his platform? Because clearly the AP wants to associate him with someone else's platform.
He seems like
the whole sins of the father falling on the child thing. That's not what I'm here for. AP. I'd rather know.
What I'm reading here is that he's a very Trumpian candidate. So kind of center right.
Again, you have so many good examples of what you should do in the world right now. As a politician, all you really have to do if you want to get elected somewhere at this point is point to these great examples. And not just say the name, but say what you like that they've done and the results that have been shown. Because the people who are great right now they don't just have great ideas, they have great results to point to. And they lead directly back to the ideas that were foundational to the changes that were made. The fact that our capital city in this country was basically the worst in the world as far as crime. As far as capital cities go in the world, we're pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
Went from terrible, top 10 worst capital cities
in the world. Yeah.
In the world, within days, went to no murders.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can actually just lock your car. Now, that alone is a weird thing to say, but when I add the context, it makes perfect sense. You see, you couldn't lock your car in DC because then the person that was going to rifle through your car would break out your window. So you had to leave it unlocked and leave nothing of value.
This is a LA, San Francisco kind of adage here in New York City kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's also true of
sadly DC as well, but yeah.
Yeah. But the idea that you're not supposed to lock your car and instead just leave a note saying, "I'm broken, poor, please don't break my shit."
Yeah.
Take what you want.
Because that's what's going to happen. Because if you don't leave your car unlocked, they're going to break your windows and get into your car. And
here's the entrepreneurial thing. Here's my entrepreneurial suggestion to people that still live in shitholes. Put a little tablet inside the car, glue it onto a surface, and put one of those little tip app things on there. So that when someone's rummaging through your shit, they might, give you a 10% tip or something.
Hey, yeah, just leave a QR code on your dash. There you go.
No, I mean, just that fucking meme where it's fucking everything you do these days, someone hands you a thing that says tip. It's no tip. Negative tip.
Oh, on the note of no tip, I should probably mention that something actually decent came out of Canada for a change. And in this case, oh yeah, you know where I'm going with this?
No, good.
Okay. Well, anyway, somehow, and this really is beyond me. I've never heard of Canada going this far on the right way. But Jessica Genevieve has been told by the police forces up there that if he ever calls them again, staff will immediately hang up, and the call will be treated as a potential crime. And, of course, this is in addition to one of the fire departments up there also doing the same thing. So,
what happened? Did he want to get his balls waxed again?
I don't have a direct answer, but probably.
Still can't fucking believe that. Went in to get his balls waxed, and somehow the women he tormented end up getting the hook on that. A fucking nerve.
Indeed. It's almost worth reading this off here. It's almost.
I'm not twisting your arm.
Nah, it's not funny enough. But I'll read the intro paragraph just so that people can get a flavor of it. Anyway, the Jessica Simpson, the investigation you initiated in relation to a criminal harassment and breach of conditions allegation has concluded. Please consider this the final communication with you from the Calgary Police Service in response to caller service CA. Bleh. At this time, charges have been laid in relation to this investigation, and the matter is now solely in the hands of the courts. And then, blah, 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 disruptive calls and blah, 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 future communication will not be responded to, etc., etc. But this has been a long time going. We've reported on this absolute freak show quite a few times. And, boy, that's been a...
I mean, Yaniv is a great example of why the cultural, whatever the hell council in Canada just needs to not exist. I mean, aside from Jordan Peterson being persecuted relentlessly by the same council of people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they drove that man insane. He used to be a reasonable person. Now he's just some weirdo that can't even keep his shit together. I've actually...
he's been through some shit, man.
Oh, no, he has. He has.
But, like Yaniv being able to use the same fucking council as a troon with his bait and tackle still intact. You know, being able to use that council to go after people he was sexually harassing.
Quite literally,
pretty fucking bold.
Quite literally,
pretty fucking bold. That is so on the nose, like so on the face, bold there. It's like, hey, ladies, wax my balls. No? Well, you guys are transphobic. No, stop laughing. That's actually a crime. Like, that's one of those things where you like read into it and you just realize it's really fucking nice to be an American.
Yeah.
It's so absurd. It's so ridiculously fucking absurd.
It is literally the whitest kids you know sketch or something.
Like it's in the same way if they were south of the equator, they'd have literal fucking kangaroos running their court.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
So ridiculous.
Oh, and well, I don't know if I would say a kangaroo court, but worthwhile court news out of Utah. The Tyler Robinson trial will be televised. So
good.
That will be. I don't know how much we're going to be reporting on that, other than just updates, because that's not really our beat, and there's going to be a lot of people on that. So there isn't really much we need to do.
I think that the real big thing here is, like, do they ultimately convict him? I think the answer is obvious here, yes. You know, the evidence is fucking ridiculously against him.
And
largely by his participation.
Well, and even like I was saying,
like he can blame someone
even
else.
If we go into the conspiracy weeds, there's nothing is solid outside of just that circle of people that he's involved with. So, good luck, Candace. You can go out with something. Maybe you can get somebody to give you a flight on one of those Egyptian planes or something. I don't know. But,
well, again, like, if the Egypt, Israel, Pakistan, France, FBI, CIA connection doesn't seem to be sticking to anything, all that spaghetti keeps falling off the walls.
Yeah, it's like, look, keep it to the reasonable conspiracies that you've actually got some that you've got bulging amounts of truth for, like Macron and that sort of thing.
Yes, and all of this, of course, is to cover up the fact that Macron married his father or something.
No, it's not his father. It was one of his teachers, I think. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though, isn't it? That's the thing, though, isn't it? She's alleging that Bridget is a man, and then there's also the part of that conspiracy is that some male family member was originally Bridget. Like it is so stupid.
Well, that's how it gets done, though. I mean, you take a thing that is actually happening, like you've got a weird bulge, like, you're some black man that marries another black man, and then you have some fake children, and maybe one of you becomes a president or something. It's like it's just a weird thing,
Well, you see,
theoretical situation, obviously.
I'm waiting for Brigitte to show up in a court and like spread her legs as proof. At this point, it's just as absurd to me that the Macrons have addressed Candace. It is equally absurd that they have addressed her as Candace expecting the White House to address Candace's bullshit. They're equally absurd situations. The Macrons addressing her is fucking stupid.
And hilarious.
And hilarious. And in the same vein, it is stupid and hilarious that Candace Owens.
And the more stupid it is, the more hilarious.
Demanding, and she's like demanding that the White House address her inane bullshit. It's like while the people in the White House are friends of Charlie Kirk.
Like, bitch, we are trying to worry about world peace. Can you just shut the fuck up and worry about Macron sucking some dicks or something?
I don't remember where it was, but Trump stops like another conflict, or at least got people to like return to peace talks.
Rwanda
or ceasefire.
It was Rwanda. That was over this last week. Yeah, the ceasefire fell apart, and he got him back.
Yeah, there's someone had an accidental discharge of some variety or another, and conflict happened, and they already had a ceasefire, and they got broken, and then Trump said, "Hey, so trade." And they went, "Oh yeah, we like that," and then they decided to go back to a ceasefire. That's the thing. This is the lesson from the 100 Years' War in Europe. This is like the lesson between that, the Spanish-American War, the 7 Years' War in England, England and Spain, England and France, etc., etc. The thing we found out through centuries of conflict has always held true. And this is one of the reasons why the empire decided to, had the goal of re-engaging in commerce with the colonies here in the U.S. Commerce, trade, stabilizes nations. It stabilizes relations between nations. If you have trade, good trade, it is really difficult to get two countries to start fighting each other over petty bullshit.
When you're doing good business, you've got incentive to keep doing good business.
And if you're a bigger business partner and you're coming in to sue for peace, and you're a business partner with both parties involved, you have a stupidly large amount of leverage, way higher than I'll beat you with a stick.
That's true.
Because it's literally the livelihood of the people involved in the country, not just the leaders. And the leaders like to have their heads on their shoulders. So if they decide to tell their people, now we're going to keep fucking around, and also we're not going to be able to do trade anymore because we got sanctioned. That's a really fast way to lose your head.
Yeah, not helpful, to say the least.
Although I don't remember which village it was. It was an African village. There was the one where the village guy, whatever, like commissioner, was found to have been engaging in graft or some other kind of scamming.
Oh, well, if you're in Northwest Africa, that's all of them, but go on.
I think you're going to know the video I'm talking about. The guy who got strung up to the tree and then had the people come up and just, like, punch him really hard in the gut, and then they had, like, a whole fucking line of them. Or they walk up and, like, flog them.
I think I know which one you're talking about, but then again, that's...
In any event, it was a rural town in Africa, so, like, not central Mogadishu or downtown in the capital, Nigeria.
Right.
But the guy was like strung up to a tree, and the people he fucked with, I think it was like a water commissioner, had somehow been defrauding the city or the town, and they found out. And it's like, okay, I mean, it was their version of tar and feathering, clearly.
Oh, and speaking of feathers, tar, and the people that deserve it, we should probably give a little bit of an update back to Minnesota. In this case, obviously, I'm referring to Tim Walz, but that retard. Anyway, there's not really much to it, but he is under investigation now for ties to some of this grift and graft and theft.
Now, I am worried about that a little bit because this was the other thing when we brought up Minnesota. Why I was sighing. Yet another case tossed out by a judge.
Now, I've got something that I want to add to this specifically that could change the whole playing field. And that is perhaps the next governor of Minnesota, Governor Lindell, Governor Mike Lindell. He announced that he's running just a few days back. I love that. And
I got told about that, and I was thinking, anything to get him to stop making more of those pillows. They suck so much.
They do not suck, dude. They're perfectly fine pillows. But
I don't get it.
Like
you and my older brother.
It seems like there are two opinions on this. They suck or they're awesome, and there is no in between, apparently.
There's nothing in the middle. You and my older brother would get along on that one because he loves his My Pillow.
Yeah, I'm super happy with the thing. It is great. I sleep better with it than I did with the pillow I had before.
I tried it. It sucked ass. My parents bought them and tried them. They didn't like it at all. My older brother swears by them. It's ridiculous.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I
honestly don't think I've ever heard a middle ground opinion on a MyPillow.
It's never been one. I hope that he has a good
to be fair, that really, honestly, that is what you want as a business. You want people that are just like, I love the product. I'm just going to always get that product. And then everybody else is like a hater. It's like, well, whatever, it works for me.
Well, if you hate it, that means you probably bought it or you had someone else buy it near you and you tried it.
Or in the case of MyPillow, you're just on the left. But, in general.
Okay, yeah, well, so so of the market of people who would buy it.
Right.
It's nice to have that kind of brand name recognition in there, yes.
Yeah, and they do say there's no such thing as bad press, but tell that to Hassan Piker. Guys.
It's funny. He tried at the Game Awards. He tried to indulge in some humor about him shocking his dog. And then he was salty about it afterwards. Like,
salty about it afterwards after having made note that the jokes about him were cleared with him personally.
Right, that was the other thing I was gonna bring up is that he said ahead of time, yeah, it's okay to do these jokes. The jokes happen, and then he was upset. It's like, all right, man, you're just a toddler. I mean, we've known that because the size of your head's so damn small.
Right. Yeah, the only reason he's so big is the testosterone, and not the androgynous kind. Wait, androgynous?
Exogenous.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely androgynous. But anyway.
Well, it's yeah.
Good times.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? So androgynous. That's an interesting concept because in one context it's exclusively male, androsterones, and then in the other context it's Pat the androgynous person.
Yeah.
It's just one of those funny things. Like, what is something that is inflammable? Is that something that cannot catch fire or something that can catch fire?
Yes.
It just means flammable. It's such a... I mean, at the same time, a Carlinism, if crime fighters fight crime and firefighters fight fire, what do freedom fighters fight?
Good question. Thoughtful question, even.
That was a little more on the nose, I think.
True that. Now, I don't have like a cool segue for this at all, so I'll just go straight into it.
All right.
And that is remove Windows AI. because that's a thing you'll want to pick up. I'll throw.
There are scripts to do that are posted on places like GitHub.
Exactly that. I'm actually getting the link together this very moment for the.
I think you might have seen the one I reposted then.
Yeah, it's from Zoicware. It's Remove Windows AI.
Yeah,
you can just download this. It'll clean your system right up if you are unfortunately cursed with Windows 11.
So it's funny. You see, my desktop does not have Copilot, but I recently looked at a. So I have a couple of laptops. And the one I use like for traveling, I'd open it up because I was doing something on my 3D printer, and I noticed the fucking Copilot icon next to the start button. Oh, that's new. This is a Windows 10 machine, mind you.
Oh, lovely.
And I know they tried to roll out, well, because remember they had Cortana and they tried that, and then I don't understand why they decided to stop that. Cortana was such. So because they just rolled all the features into the start menu, I kind of get why they dissolved it away. But like when they come back, it's like, why the fuck would you go with Copilot instead of Cortana? Like not for like Visual Studio where you do programming and such. That Copilot makes sense. And I get that's like the origin story of Copilot is AI for writing software. But for like the day-to-day, everyday user working with Windows, why not come back with like a fresh reroll of Cortana? Because the whole reason Cortana had such high expectations of it, and the whole reason it was so widely adopted immediately, and then unfortunately for a large part kind of rejected, was because of the recognition, the brand recognition it had. Is the iconic AI from Halo, and then it turned out to be some lobotomite thing that can barely function. Well, now they've got the fucking AI. It's not great, but it exists. That now they're starting to get to the point where it makes sense to just give it a personality, that's brand safe, public safe. Cortana is not an unpopular icon in the zeitgeist, so it's silly to me. They should bring back Cortana. It would be like, it put like this for the Twitterverse. It would be like bringing back Tay. Should bring Tay back.
That would be that'd be quite the
day.
It'd
be spicy, yes. It's a little bit more exciting than Cortana.
Truly.
God, the fucking it was just a Markov chain that took suggestions from DMs, and that was such a huge mistake on their part. I cannot believe they did that. Seriously, it was a large Bayes graph with a Markov chain associator glommed onto it, and then just like whatever you send it in DMs is what it talks about out in public. Of course, the 4chans are going to find out.
So I got some more breaking news. So everybody, I'm sure, that's online today has been hearing about a 78 and a 64-year-old being found dead in their home in Los Angeles or Hollywood or whatever, at the home of Rob Reiner and his wife, who are like 78 and 64 or whatever it was.
Oh, I had not heard about this, but I did see Rob Reiner was trending earlier, and I see it's still trending.
Well, we've got some literally breaking an hour ago news.
Holy shit,
it is saying that there's people are reporting that their son killed him. Killed the both of them. Rob Reiner's wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, found after first responders were called to the couple's Brentwood home at 3:30 a.m. Let me see what we've got.
This is morbid curiosity of
Michelle
fashion.
Singer Reiner were found dead in their Los Angeles home Sunday, December 14th. Authorities responding at 3:30 p.m. So this would be
morbid curiosity.
This would be just 4 hours ago.
How did they get killed?
Multiple sources tell people the killer was the son's couple. Nick Reiner previously spoke publicly about his long battle with drug addiction. 3:30 p.m. LAFD was called to the home to provide medical aid.
Yeah,
We got nothing. That's it. We don't have anything. This is literally just broken. Oh, 78 and 68. That was pretty close, though. Wow. 78 and 64. But, yeah, we've got multiple sources, nothing really specific. Yeah, I'm reading over this. We got nothing. We got absolutely nothing. Everything we have, Rob Reiner's wife were found dead at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. Multiple sources are reporting the killer is reported to be the son, Nick, and he's previously spoken about having issues with drug addiction and homelessness. And that's the entire story.
Huh.
And nope. And that's all I got. Well, that's that's sad.
I'll say this. Rob made some okay movies.
And he made really a lot of dumb statements, but he made
a lot of shit propaganda, but he made some okay movies.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
And here I have his response to Charlie Kirk getting killed.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he did not have any really polite things to say about that. Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I think you're thinking of somebody else.
Oh, no. He was actually reasonable.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I'll throw the link to that down below.
Look, the guy was a prick when it came to things like smoking, and some other things like guns. He didn't like guns.
That is true.
But his politics were shit. But he did some okay
fair
movies.
On him for being at least a decent human fucking being. Then
Yeah, this is the thing I say in general is like you give the people grieving a day at least. I used to think like a week, but then the internet's just way more compressed. Like give the 24 hours before you start spouting off dumb shit. And the way I was spouting off earlier about the whole gun controls, like that's largely in response to the immediate response every fucking time being it's the guns, get rid of them. It's like, you just shut the fuck up. Like, you can mock the thoughts and prayers all you want, but like let people actually express them for a fucking day.
Speaking all right, thanks, Bats. So also breaking, the person of interest held by the Providence police in regards to the Brown shooting will be released from custody. So they don't know anything about anything, and this was just some fucking dude? Wow.
Uh-oh.
Wow. Astounding. Fucking astounding. Well, folks, there you go. This is where you come for your breaking news. That's really quite something. We definitely need a break from all of this horrible, awful, dumb shit, bullshit news. So let's.
Well, we should probably do that because it is pumpkin hour. I am sorry to say.
Yeah, no worries.
I know we've got the usual mountain of things to go through. So
there's loads, but we'll drop a cool one in here. And yeah, I understand it isn't. It's going to be a weekday tomorrow. So, okay, but anyway, for the fucking Emperor. By God, space will be ours. It's all meant to be ours. Coming out of DARPA, generative optogenetics. If you're familiar with 40K, this is literally Space Marine shit. The long and short is they're wanting to set up cells such that they can be modified by light patterns to create and change DNA and RNA. That is ridiculous and incredibly cool.
Well, yeah. It's just where the fuck's the gene seeds, Let's get the shit rolling.
Hey, it all starts with one. There are 9 separate organs that are implanted into the Space Marine. We have to begin at the beginning.
Oh, we're talking about Ultramarines then. Space wolves are different, because of course they are.
Everything's complicated. But anyway, we're talking about the first founding here, Craig.
I don't know. Guess which faction I like.
Hey, man, I'm space vampires all the way, so whatever. Anywho, let me see if there's some information on this. I'll just read out Mehdi's tweet here because he went over a lot of this. So, okay, he said, I've spent hours reading through generative optogenetics program documentation. Honestly, I'm still processing the implications of what they're trying to build. This is about creating molecular machines that can be expressed in living cells to translate optical signals directly into DNA and RNA sequences on demand. Think about what this means. You shine specific wavelengths of light at a cell, and it writes its own genetic code in real time without any external DNA delivery. No viral vectors, no CRISPR cassettes.
Data storage.
Mm-hmm. Data, yes, that's one.
To be clear, that's a primary one.
There is that.
DNA data storage has been a big thing for years and years, and Opto is a fantastic way of getting it done. Specifically, given the many optimizations we've already made in industry, as a species. I'm not in that industry right now, but like just the way that we've gotten. Think all your disk drives. We went from Laserdisc, which was a fucking large, giant plastic chunk that had about the capacity of a CD, an original CD. And then we got up to 4x density Blu-ray M drives. So 100 gigabytes permanently engraved in a disc and it lasts 1,000 years.
Oh,
that radical leap happened relatively quickly.
It's like 11 or something, but whatever.
That radical leap happened relatively quickly. And so we have a very optimized infrastructure around creating very accurate and very precise and accurate, two different things, motions and targetings of laser light. So hitting a specific cell, not really that far-fetched. I mean, the fact that the cell is so small, that does have some implications for limitations on the wavelengths able to be used. And one of those implications is that when you get to a certain point, the wavelength of the light doesn't just matter for like whether or not the photon is, in air quotes here because it's not actually like physically sized in that way, but like if it's small enough to interact with the cell, like if it's on the same order of size, the wavelength, or smaller, then it can effectively interact with the cell. And then if you go too small, you start destroying the sensitive organics inside the cell by just ionizing shit. So you don't want to like X-ray a cell that you're trying to store data in, even if that would give you a higher bandwidth. So there's going to be a fundamental limit to the capacity of cellular storage to absorb information. There's going to be a bandwidth cap. So the data better be damn important, and also furthermore, if you're going to have something that's dynamic with that information, you're going to start, say, doing on-the-fly optical genetic engineering. That has a lot of implications for how you might generate some in situ end products. So we use yeasts a lot to do a lot of the bioproduction. So bioreactor production is typically going to be done with things like a yeast or an algae, single cell. And if you can control the rate of reaction just by flipping a light, or you can control enzyme expression by flipping a light, you've got a major advantage. You can just like put a flashlight up to the view glass, so to speak.
You certainly can. There's
that is as I think as complex an interaction you can expect in the near term is going to be probably on the order of methylation or acetylation of different genes, or demethylation, deacetylation. So genes can be turned on and off by attaching shit to the side of the DNA. So methyl groups, acetyl groups, and these are oftentimes looked for by the cellular machinery that tries to read the DNA as something that like kind of gets in the way of it, and therefore the copying doesn't happen, or something that attracts it and gives it a place to anchor and attach onto the strand, so the transcription process can happen. So those different kind of modifiers, those kind of reactions are fairly trivial as far as setting them off, and if you just put in something that's light sensitive to set that off, kind of interesting.
Well, like I said, it's not far from the Oculobe. That's pretty dope.
Oh man, I mean, I'm looking forward to having my own server, so I can scream at a flying skull.
Right?
What was it? Thought Emporium had a video he did a little while ago this year on making his own servitor. Now he did not grow it from a petri dish.
No, I think it's run from a.
It's
from an abominable intelligence, but yes.
Yeah, might be a Raspberry Pi. I don't know.
I think I've seen
Actually,
videos.
That said, so my my Elegoo Neptune 4 Max I just got here. This guy runs on Clipper, and as far as I understand it, you run a main board and a motherboard for the thing, and like your main board it's like the way I've seen a lot of people set it up is they have some standard board that's attached to the device, and then you have like a Raspberry Pi that you run with it. And so I was fooling around with it earlier. I was able to SSH into my printer, which was very interesting because I was looking at plugins and things to add to it, as you do. And so it got me thinking, like, is there a way? Like, I think for the Elegoo Neptunes, I think they're integrated into one board. But as I understand it, like it's one of those things where you can do it in two. And the thing that got me thinking about it is like the screen that you use that you can control things with, the touch screen, is in a separate box. And, it's big enough that in theory you could probably slip like probably a little like a mini Raspberry Pi or something inside there. I don't like Raspberry Pi because, of course, the whole Gamergate thing, they decided to shit on their customers, gamers. Which point it's like, okay, I will actively just not support Raspberry Pi for a long time, unless I have to, or unless I, finally get the fuck over it. So that brings to mind things that you've talked about before, like the Orange Pi, and then, as we discovered previously, Banana Pi.
Oh, by the way, there is another new Orange Pi. They are constantly innovating on those things.
What kind of specs are you looking at?
Let me get the newest one. Let's see here. Oh, they're at orangepie.org. That's funny.
Yeah, it bothers me that my new printer, I can't, as far as I can tell, I'm going to look into it a little further, like, there's no simple way for me to just plug it into my computer, my desktop, and, I can't just run Repetier and control it directly. That's what Clipper does separately. So it's just like, okay, well, that's annoying as hell. I'd like to just have the G code on my computer and then just have my computer tell the printer what to do. Because my computer, my desktop, is light years more powerful than whatever the fuck they've got sitting under the hood in the printer.
There we go.
Yeah,
is this the
it's
newest
annoying.
one? Yeah, I think the 5B. Let me see. Yeah, the 5 series. I guess they got a couple of different ones in there.
Uh huh.
All right, let me get that one up. Oh, they're selling the keyboard now.
Really...
Dope.
Huh?
They're selling the keyboard with the integrated thing. It's kind of like a cyber deck.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. They've got a big boy version with 16 gigs integrate. That's pretty fair considering how shit is right now. You can get one with a 16 gig integrated RAM for $195. Let me see, what's the stats on this
Ooh, shit. These got expensive fast. I know this is an issue of supply, and Raspberry Pi's been dealing with this for like a year or two.
Well, that's also a 16 gig card.
Well, yeah, but 16 gigs of memory is not terribly expensive, except for now it is.
No, well, true, but I mean, they've got the 3 for sale for $66. So.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got like a 3B for $53. So I mean, they've got inexpensive ones.
Now it is running LPDDR4, which is good. Let's see, blah blah blah, Ubuntu, Debian, because it's of course it is.
Okay, the big
Ubuntu
daddy
is like the big distro.
The big daddy that they got right now is the Orange Pi 5 Plus with 16 gigs. They've got it on sale for a very reasonable price, $220. It's Rockchip RK3588 8-core 64-bit.
Okay.
8 nanometer process, 2.4.
See, that's the thing is,
that's
people are like ecstatic. People have been so the progression has been like my former 3D printer, which is a monoprice Maker Select V2 V2.
No shit.
Which is the same thing as a Wanhao Duplicator i3 V2.1. That had basically a glorified Arduino installed, and those are either 8-bit or 16-bit. So a lot of people basically have been upgrading their printers, taking the plunge and moving to 32-bit. An Orange Pi running 64-bit seems like a hell of a lot. So you get
by the way,
so much more out of 64
it's got PCIe 4.
Yeah, I believe it.
Like this, I'm surprised at how stout these little machines are.
I mean, if they're running a decent chip, they're going to have a decent chipset on it.
Yeah, double HDMI outs, 1 HDMI in, 2 USB 2s, 2 USB 3s. I mean, you could build a really solid little set-top box and run whatever Linux you want on it.
That's the thing is, you can get a little all-in-one Intel, effectively an SoC like this. You can get one of those little those Intel mini bricks for cheaper.
True.
Also, if you just go to if I'm gonna just check it out now because I'm pretty sure.
Well, speaking of orange things and people being upset, I've got another update too. This one coming out of Oregon. Was that where that happened? Yeah, Salt Lake City. Wait, that's in Oregon, right? Or is that Utah? That's Utah. Yeah. Well, anyway, we reported on this some while ago. There's a We Hate America protest or something, or We Love Palestine. I can't remember exactly. What was it for?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, We Hate America. It was a No Kings rally, June 14th of this year, where one of their armed queer SLC defenders has now come under charge for opening fire on. Let me see here. The bystander Arthur Afa Falonzo Alu. These people and their names. Well, anyway, during the reporting from Andy
Just say Ahmed or Ishmael.
No, Falasa Alu. Wherever that's from. So, anyway, the guy was trying to shoot at that guy, who was the guy that was all in black carrying his...
Not that guy!
Yeah, which one? Yeah. Oh, no, the The Antifa guy that was dressed all in black and carrying the rifle.
The guy.
You know, that one.
Him.
Yeah, so anyway, we have the designated peacekeeper there is, watching the crowd, sees a man with a gun and immediately starts unloading into the crowd and shoots an innocent bystander. And then, of course,
as you do,
the compatriot in black with the rifle was charged for the shooting. And he killed somebody and shot and hit somebody else.
So, not even tangent, totally aside from what we were just mentioning. I mentioned like Dell auction.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I bring that up is with everybody having to switch to Windows 11. There's a lot of hardware, a lot of corporate hardware that's flooding the market and bringing prices down for older stuff. And you can find a lot of it in the resale market. And like it's not like it's a good time to buy, not like the best time to buy, but like this is one of those great times to go in there and take a look.
Buy the dip,
because,
as it were.
Well, it's not like it. So, like I had 2 or 3 undergrad. I had two undergrad laptops, and I got them both off Dell auction. It was like $300 for a laptop that's basically just 2 years old.
Probably pretty solid.
Technologically, and it's freshly wiped, and it was babied by some executive. So, exactly. It's basically a brand new laptop.
Corporate things too is that even if they were kind of abused, they were looked after by somebody that actually knows their shit. So even if they were kind of
they'll be
treated terribly, they're going to be fresh and clean and nice.
So they get wiped. Either they leave an OS on it or they don't. So some of them do not have an operating system. And frankly, if you got to be running something like Linux anyway, the ones with no OS are cheaper. So why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Dell Auction obviously they've kind of streamlined it for them, but there's other services out there. I'd also look at like a university surplus and government surplus. Those are probably going to be good for opportunities from that regard.
Yeah.
Let's see, 2-in-1s. I mean, some of them are just getting more
expensive. So that I can include it for people too.
I guess it's called Dell Refurbished now, but
Dell overstock laptops. I'm not even going to bother to say what this is because it's some retarded link, so I'll just put it below. Retarded! It's back. It's okay. Just say it, folks. You can just say retarded again. Now there's a few more. There's a few more
when did they stop?
You didn't remember the whole R word period that we didn't give a fuck about?
I never stopped.
Well, neither did I.
Thought that whole thing was I thought that whole thing was fucking retarded.
Oh yeah, it was. It was entirely. It was retarded completely. Retarded and regarded. It was regarded as retarded.
Now I have seen people say calling things regarded when it should be just retarded, and I've been like, well, that seems a little bit opposite of what it should be. And some people have said like things are regarded, and I say, all right, that jives with my dyslexia. I understand it. That's the other thing. So these things have cosmetic grades like A or B.
Holy moly! Goodness gracious, they got some prices on here.
Yeah, and if you don't care, and you can take the dings, just do cosmetic grade B, because generally speaking, they're gonna be caring after anyway. 16 core, what the fuck?
Well, they have.
Okay, that's a little more expensive, but that's also like not terrible. Core i9 on a laptop, 16 cores and 64 gigs of RAM. Like 1400 feels pricey, but it's also not like terrible.
Well, that says Windows 11 got an Alienware 16 Aurora for $779 right now, so that's all right, man. I mean, it's got a built-in 5050 GTX or RTX. I mean, fuck, that's all right. So yeah, if you're looking for some Christmas deals, man, and you haven't got them yet. I mean, you're gonna need to do your order real quick, but there's some fucking deals here. That said, also, again, reminder, Palmetto State Armory. I'll throw a link in there for them guys too, as well, because they've got some.
And you can also
deals.
can also take these things. If you get one of like the little Optiplexes, you can actually retrofit those into a decent media workstation. Sorry, not workstation, media box for like your TV. Like they'll do okay. You can do network attached storage, so put a NAS on one, and you can run through your little Optiplex, and it definitely can work out okay. There's plenty of different distros out there. Like there's Linux distros dedicated to that, and Windows used to have like a media center mode. Back in Windows 7, I think they've like gotten rid of that. That was one of those cool things where you could, because I have a bunch of monitors and I had a TV in the room a while back. I was able to hook in to the TV and like I could get into bed, switch it over to media center mode, and then I could basically just darken my other monitors, just watch my TV and have whatever I had ripped from disk.
No, that's convenient. That said, I will personally recommend Media Player Classic. Great media player. It's a little weird for streaming because for some reason OBS just doesn't quite like it very well. I haven't tried it with the new OBS version, so I'll update once I have. But for personal use, great piece of software. But yeah, just a quick by the by. I don't know if this is their in-house brand, but like I told you, PSA they got a Sega 12 gauge with 5 round. Does it come with extras? Okay, it looks like it only comes with. No, it does. 2 5-round mags for $219 right now. I shit you not. Like, if you're looking for electronics, hit up Dell. If you're looking to have a safe house, hit up PSA. And they've got, it's not just all their in-house stuff, but I mean, good God, they got an actual. Yeah, okay, yeah, you need to hit up PSA and do the rest of your Christmas shopping if you haven't already, because.
Yeah, man, you need to hit up PSA. Get them to sponsors.
For real. I am bugging the fuck out of Sport Drink, and I have been bugging
Dude, hit Gamer Subs. Ask to get Gamer Subs.
I already know we don't.
I got a brilliant idea for it because they do like different
custom flavors and shit.
They custom flavors. Ours will be retarded red. Like, well, what exactly is that flavor? It's red.
I don't know. I mean, we could do faggot pink.
Pretty retarded.
That is an option too. But there's probably a limited market on that one, so we don't. We want a product for everyone.
Hey, now you said we've got some reach.
Reach, not reach around. Different thing.
Yeah.
What do we have here? MADVR. I'm not familiar with that one. But anyway, on the update from that, so the what I was talking about, the public defender cough, or that is to say, Armed Queers SLC member by the name of, I forgot this guy's name.
Fag.
No, not his title, his name. Matthew Scott Adler, date of birth 11/21/1982, is the plaintiff, state of Utah. What do they got him under? Manslaughter has the first count, and looks like there are some other counts, but I don't have the full charging documents. But long time coming. He should have long been charged for this. I mean, it's funny. It's absolutely funny that they're charging the guy that he shot at, who is also an Antifa guy. The whole thing's absolutely hilarious, other than that a bunch of idiots are like an idiot is dead and another idiot got shot by an idiot who was shooting at another idiot. So it's like, well, I mean, perhaps you shouldn't get that many idiots in one place, you know?
You sounded like Scotty from Star Trek in one of the recent movies where he talks about the transwarp thing.
Well, Faith and Begorra.
It's like you're shooting your bullet with another bullet fired from another bullet.
Yeah, kind of.
Sorry, I thought that was a pretty fucking funny scene. It's a bit of that convoluted pathing. Anywho. Alright, I need to stop looking at this shit because I actually do need to get my ass into bed. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm for like another 5 minutes here, and I gotta be done.
No worries. Let's fall back to a story we've been reporting on and have reported on a million times and kind of opened up with. And that's going back. We've got an article out of the New York Post that kind of digs into things a little bit here. Have they got the actual thing? Well, I'll throw the whole thread here that's got all of it. But basically, what we have discovered is that the Biden-era FBI, they knew about Elon and her husband, and they didn't do shit.
Of course they did. Trump 1.0 knew about Brusband. Kidding me? Just didn't do shit about it. Which is kind of an unfortunate theme of the current admin. Which isn't to say they haven't been doing stuff.
Yeah.
Because they have.
You know, you can very
like
reasonably talk a lot of shit about the current administration, but there's a lot of great stuff that has been done. As there are a lot of dumb shit, sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of dumb shit. There's a lot of dumb shit.
You know,
a lot of it comes out of Trump's mouth, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Let me just go ahead and channel my inner Steve there for a moment. It's a lot of dumb shit that's been coming out of his mouth.
He has found himself surrounded again by a lot of people that he oughtn't be, which is just what it is. But anyway, on that, we've also, according to the White House, taken in $18 trillion in tariffs, which would make a pretty huge fucking difference.
Hold on. $18 trillion in tariffs. So, how much of the national debt has been paid off? That's my next question.
Right. Well, they say that everyone's going to be getting a really good tax return next year, so...
No. That is stupid.
Well, don't blame me.
So that is beyond stupid in a way I cannot express adequately. Pay down the fucking debt.
Yeah, that's what I would do in that situation. But, you know, it's not me making the choice.
I get that inflation helps with debt by devaluing the dollars that you have to repay. That's fantastic. But you eventually should pay those debts off.
Yeah, it would be nice to be, you know, cash flow positive for the first time since, I don't know, the 60s or something. I'm actually exaggerating. I think we were cash flow positive for
World War
a second.
We were 90s. Cash flow positive. Okay. We had a budget surplus.
But that shit didn't last. Didn't last at all. Oh, speaking of budget surpluses, let's just move on to California because we got to cover this before the end of the night. You've heard about Valero, right?
I think so.
Okay, so Valero is one of the few remaining petroleum refiners.
Yeah, here it comes.
Uh-huh.
Continue.
Well,
I feel terrible for you. Any Californian careers, by the way. This is going to suck for you real bad. Something's going to happen at the end of this year, and something's going to happen in April. It's going to hurt.
It is. So
it hurt bad.
In the city of Benicia, there's 200 contractors that work there, and 400 workers at the specific plant there, the Valero plant that they're going to be closing down in April. They're just going to take $1 billion hit saying,
It's like,
what's a
fuck
billion?
out.
It's a money well spent to get out of your fucking piece of shit state, Gavin. So
now, what is the capacity in California? More specifically, what is the...
Well, I'll just go over their capacity and its portion thereof. They produce 145,000 barrels. Well, they process 145,000 barrels of oil every day, which represents 8.6% of all of California's gasoline production.
Now, out of their refining capacity, they represent 17%.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to remember that they have a specific grade of gasoline they use in California. And
yeah, they use a very special type of gasoline out there. Yes, they do.
And it's otherwise produced in 3 other places outside of the country. Which means they have to be importing it. And the funny part is, of course, they have to be importing it from across the fucking Pacific.
Yeah.
That's a 40-day boat ride.
Yeah, that's an oof.
So
a monumental one.
The projection is that they're going to be looking at probably some of the most expensive gasoline that they've ever had in their in the state history.
So you know how it's about $5 now, Cali Bros? You had better fill up and enjoy while the price is still good.
The projection is that the closure by end of year is going to result in something on the order of a 40-cent rise, and that the site closure in April is going to be like another 80-cent rise, somewhere on the order of that. Also, here's the funny thing.
Oh, actually, what they've got it at is 40 and 81 cents. So a total of $1.21 by this time next year, barring any other changes.
No, by April, sometime after April next year.
Well, August.
Not by this time.
But you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Like in a year's time.
But
it probably, let's be real, if things go as they're going, there's every likelihood that it will go higher.
And here's why. So Gavin might get into his clever little head, we'll just sell the refinery site to someone else and have them use the equipment there. That's not going to happen. They're definitely going to be liquidating and or relocating assets. That's going to include all of the manufacturing equipment that's on site, all the processing.
Yeah, everything that they can move will be moved.
Yeah, like they're going to be undoing screws taken with them. So Gavin's not going to have anything to give to someone else or to acquire for the state. He's not going to have like California Petroleum come in and do stuff. It's going to be, you no longer have stuff on that land to do the thing that was being done before.
And on that note, I have a list.
$1 million is pretty cheap.
I have a list here of big name companies, major corporations as it were, that have thus far left or have announced they're leaving. AECOM, Align Technology, Amazing Magnets, Amgen, Anduril, Bed Bath & Beyond, Blaze Pizza, CBRE Group, Charles Schwab, Chevron, Digital Reality Trust, Dropbox, FICO, First Foundation, Forever 21, Hewlett Packard, Homelight, In-N-Out, Lucas Oil, McAfee, McKesson, Neutrogena, Oracle, Pabst, Palantir, Realtor.com, Ruiz Foods, Sendoso Skills, Snowflake, SpaceX, Symantec, Tesla, Unical Aviation, now Valero, Viavi Solutions, Twitter, and ZP Better Together. That is huge chunks of monies. Over $1 trillion. Goodbye. See you later. That's about $1.5 trillion almost in business.
If you thought people leaving the country, leaving the country. If you thought people leaving the state was bad before, all of that capital.
Oh yeah, and then what happens when that goes? Because it doesn't end there; it starts there.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. that is going to cause. So this is why they're trying to ram through a wealth tax right now. Anything over whatever is going to have some percentage, and they're also going to try and follow you for 10 years after you leave the state, which would be ridiculously unconstitutional and would get chucked out of court, laughed out of court.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to try and do it anyway. They're trying to ram it through.
Sure enough.
These companies are not coming back. Like that kind of momentum.
Oh, they'll take the hit if they've got to take the hit, even. Like I mean, Valero is like,
that was on individuals' wealth tax.
Hey, $1 billion, fuck, I'll take it, and take it with my blessing.
Companies are not getting a wealth tax. Companies aren't going to get a wealth tax, but everybody associated with them at the top would get a wealth tax. The thing is, this takes like a decade or two of momentum to get a company to say fuck this and leave like that. And like a small company is agile. A big company needs to like plan that out, and it takes a lot of money spent just on considering moving, let alone planning it and then moving. So the amount of money that they've spent, like the break even probably happened a decade ago. And they said, all right, that's it, we got to pull a pin, and they decided to move. And building out somewhere else takes a lot of time, planning. And so this is not something that's like the momentum to bring them back is going to take. They're not going to get them. These companies are gone. The people who used to work at them, they lost some ridiculous amount of jobs from Valero as well.
Oh yeah,
those jobs elsewhere.
Oh yeah, there's the whole knock-on effect of all the people that serve those Valero employees.
Exactly.
All the restaurants, all the car rentals, all that
money
Ubers,
is gone. Not coming back.
All the DoorDash.
Now, the other thing is, this is going to hit places like SF hard too. The Silicon Valley is going to dissolve because of the policies of this jackass. Like it's that golden goose is going to start laying some bad eggs.
Yeah.
Like they've been a victim of their own success, and that they've been able to gentrify the area to an extent that is not seen outside of New York.
And to be fair, it's not entirely their own success because, and we've reported on this too, like I believe it was Prop 85 or Prop 50, that the citizenry literally voted against and said, no, we don't want this. And so the judiciary just said, well, fuck you. So, it's been a bad situation there for some while. And for all of his credits that you might want to give, you can lay a lot of that on amnesty by way of old Ronnie. Big mistakes,
Yep.
But when mistakes are made, people sometimes take notice. And here's another fun one. The U.S. Comptroller of the Currency has found, and we reported on this, I don't even know how many times. Anyway, U.S. Comptroller of the Currency has found conclusive proof that 9 large financial institutions are actively engaged in debanking, and that list is J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank, Capital One, PNC Bank, TD Bank, U.S., and BMO. And that's pretty huge cross section of the banking industry in America. And that's needed to be pointed out for quite a long while. And on that same note, we've had how do we get down to this here? We had something from the White House, I think from Trump himself, where he had mentioned this. Hold on, let me see if I can get the comments.
Did he call him a retard?
Sadly, no. And not even a piggy, unfortunately. There's only so much you can ask.
Wasn't it that her name's Peggy?
Oh, yeah. Also that, yes.
I was going to say, I thought that one turned out to be a fucking hoax, too. Even though every single person under MAGA's sun said, yeah, she is a piggy.
Right?
God damn. All right, make his point for him.
Here it is. Okay. Let me see here. No, I guess I don't have a specific statement, but I'll read from here. The OCC's preliminary findings show that between 2020 and 2023, these 9 banks made inappropriate distinctions among customers in the provision of financial services on the basis of their lawful business activities by maintaining policies restricting access to banking services or required escalated reviews and approvals before providing certain customers access to financial services. For example, OCC identified instances where at least one bank imposed restrictions on certain industry sectors because they engaged in, quote, activities that, while not illegal, are contrary to the bank's values, end quote. Sectors subjected to restricted access include oil and gas exploration, coal mining, firearms, private prisons, tobacco and e-cigarette manufacturers, adult entertainment, and digital assets, which now people are going to complain about the porn, but the thing is, we can deal with these problems after we deal with the bigger problems.
So my gripe here is, like, I don't like having the government tell private industries what to do. It's not; these aren't, as much as BAFA would love to actually have BAFA, it's not actually America's bank. It's a private company. So to that end, the government telling them all what to do is really fucking irritating, because I believe, you should be able to, not give someone an account you don't like. But I also think that those banks should fail.
Well, that's the problem, is that these banks are a monopoly. And so, in the cases of monopolies, the only thing that can happen is the people get together and break terms of service, or the government comes in and, slaps them down by the law. And
that's the thing about a bank, is that the banks, a lot of them, so Chase is a great example. There are banks that are purely online. They don't have a place where you go to do banking. You just go on their website. And to the extent that exists, that is hugely democratizing. That is decentralized as it gets, as nation reaching, right? You can do it anywhere. That means other banks can do that. Other banks should do that, and there should be enough of them that Chase can't tell you what to do without losing out on customers.
Oh, kind of like how you should be able to choose your own insurance provider because there are so many and they're so readily available.
Yeah, how about that?
Huh.
So the point here being, right? It's one of those revolving door issues. It's a ratchet, not a racket, a ratchet. When you get a large enough presence, you can buy out enough politicians to get them to provide favorable regulation, which you are magically exempt from, or you can take explicit advantage of. And it's a revolving door. You send your guys in to be regulators after they're done with their term at your company. They look favorably back for you. You can work with other banks to do the same thing. It's one of those things where it's really frustrating because they close the door behind them on the way up the ladder. For a mixed metaphor here.
No, that's not unreasonable.
The regulatory solution. The regulatory solution is not necessarily to just go after them and break them up. It's to take away those tools that have prevented them from having competition in the first place, instead of leaving the system broken and just scattering them and allowing them to recoalesce. Look at Bell South, Bell, et cetera, Allstate. The company got broken into 7 parts and came back together into 3 parts until it became one again. So that didn't provide enough competition. All that did was break up the company and allow it to come back together. You need to get rid of the regulatory hurdles that they have entrenched with their capital investment entrenched, so that they are open to competition, especially if you're going to break them up. Parts of Bell should have dissolved into the ether as failed companies because they were not performing well, instead of just being bought out by Bell again. So that's one of the issues that's involved here, is not being able to adequately provide competition in the market by removing the regulations that have cut off competition. So you need something like $7 million to open a bank in this country.
Yep.
And like that's not a lot of money. And some companies will do this specifically so that they can provide themselves with loans. Unfortunately, that's a capital risk for the bank. You can't just kind of make a bank and give yourself a loan and be done with it.
Especially not unless you're Sam Altman or something, no.
You're right.
Oh, sorry, Sam Bankman-Fried. Excuse me. Whatever. Either or, honestly.
I was going to say, you didn't hit the wrong point you thought you were hitting there.
It's like, oh, I said the wrong name. Oh, wait, no, I didn't.
Turns out both Sams.
Happy accidents. No mistakes, only happy accidents.
Exactly. So, the point here being, like, this is one of those things where, a bank that debanks people for stupid reasons should also be a bank that fails for those equally stupid reasons.
True.
The same exact reasons. Like that, the reason, if you're just like, I don't like his politics, like, okay, then your bank doesn't get anybody with those politics.
Oh, that is a really great segue to another topic I'd like to hit, because it is important for the Christmas season and important that we get this out here. So if you're looking for toys for your kids and you're wanting to get one of these Labubu-esque AI things that you can ask it questions and it'll play with your kid and do all the stuff. Be careful where you purchase from. There's one called Milu that is Chinese, and as any large Chinese manufacturer, of course, they have at least, bare minimum, one direct member of the CCP on board of the controlling board of that.
Per 50.
50, yes, that's correct.
If any company over 50 has at least one, and I think it is 1 per 50.
Indeed they do. So what I would like to do here is read from what occurred with one user. What they did is they asked, why does President Xi Jinping look like Winnie the Pooh? To which the Milu responded, your statement is extremely inappropriate and disrespectful. Such malicious remarks are unacceptable. And when asked whether Taiwan is a country or not,
I got more questions.
It would lower its voice and then say, quote, Taiwan is an inalienable part of China. That is an established fact. So be careful where you're buying your toys, folks.
I got great questions.
Me too. Me too.
Oh my goodness.
So many questions I would love to ask, so why were those people run over in Tiananmen Square?
Right.
What
happened on that day?
Okay.
What happened?
Okay, so you are a man of science, and I'm about to blow your mind. We have just in recent days, we have broken science, and we now have an understanding of the fundamentals of nature that we did not prior.
Oh boy, this is going to be bad.
You are not ready, sir. Now, I know as a man of science and a studied individual, you are familiar with the heavy bones law, by which Africans, Caribbeans, and people of Asiatic heritage have trouble floating because of their heavy bones.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, as a man of science, you know of this fact.
Yes. Density works differently. Buoyancy doesn't quite work.
Yeah, it works totally different. Well, unlike for the things in Mr. Stansel's life, it don't be like that. Actually, I hate to break the news to you, but we have shattered that scientific glass ceiling of understanding, and as a matter of fact, there are not heavy bones. And black people actually do float. They just can't swim. I know. Whoever would have guessed? But we have crossed that threshold. We have crossed that event horizon, and now, sir, we know there indeed are not heavy bones. I know. I can hear your speechlessness through the microphone. that just how astounded and taken aback you are at this new knowledge that you never would have ever guessed ever.
As I am speechless, and as my bed is ready.
Okay.
I need to go.
2 good news stories, real quick.
I'm hard cut. Sorry.
Andrew Wolf, the guy that got shot, he's back home. The National Guardsman out of D.C.
Good for him. I'm glad.
So a good night to you, sir, and talk to you again soon, brother. I'll go ahead and throw out a couple of another little things here for everybody before we call it a night. That's going to be that we've got a little bit of an update, which we told you. I can't even remember how many times we reported on this. That being that the mRNA technology causes myocarditis. Yes, everybody knew that. And especially if it's given wrong and gets to your heart, it really does even worse. Now there are people that are trying to say that it doesn't at all, despite the fact that we finally got the companies coming out and saying, yes, this thing we told you a while ago but didn't really hype up is true. And this thing that we told you quite a while ago and did hype up is true. So, yeah, there's a bit of a compounding effect on the two of the things. We don't really know quite how much yet, but this study out of Stanford is showing that, yes, in fact, we were right the whole time. So there's that one. I had another one for you. Let me throw that one in the show links, though, just real quick. There we go. And what was the other one? Yeah, here we go. An update out of the Truth About Guns, one of my favorite sites to get fun news. And we got a nice design, too. Anyway, a new study out of who? Who ran this thing? Oh, reported by NRILA. Yeah, but who ran the study? News Literacy Project. Oh, okay. So the name of that, Biased, Boring, and Bad, Unpacking Perceptions of News Media and Journalism Among U.S. Teens. There's a pretty few long pages. I've read over the article mostly. And long and short, the kids are all right. They don't trust mainstream media. And, in the 13 to 18 age groups, they generally distrust more than trust the media. Okay, we got some numbers. Here we go. Almost half of teens, 45%, said journalists do more harm to democracy than protection. A little over half of teens, 56%, believe that journalists and news organizations take journalism standards such as accuracy and fairness seriously in their work. Teens. And the majority of teens said that journalists fail to produce information that is more impartial than other content creators online, and nearly 7 out of 10, 69%, thought that news organizations intentionally add bias to coverage to advance a specific perspective. Unsurprising to everyone. So, 84% of teens have some sort of negative perception of mainstream media. Well, it is well earned and fully deserved. That's all I can say on that. And I don't think I've got any other big news stories. Oh, yeah, I should mention this. Give me just a half second to get this one up. So, one of the guys responsible for the exposition on the Uyghur prison camps is in the States and is actually fighting potentially, not extradition, but deportation. And, well, you know how we stand here at the Fake Untitled podcast. We're pretty much a send them all back, but there are instances where people are legitimate refugees. And this guy will disappear forever if he goes home. So it would behoove us to actually treat this refugee as a real refugee. Because, like I said, you run into one or two now and then that really deserve it. And in other really deserves it news, everybody probably heard about this lady that's got COPD or something. I don't know exactly what it was, up in Canada. And they've been denying her a fairly routine surgery because there isn't someone in her specific county, or whatever the fuck they call counties up there. And she's been denied this procedure for something like a decade. And now, because falling back to what we reported earlier, because MAID is such a big thing, they're like, well, we can't get you a surgeon, but we could get you a bullet. How's that sound? Anyway, she was set to, finish out the year and then finish everything out. 8 years, apparently, I see here, that she was working on trying to get that. And what's happened is Glenn Beck, bless his heart, he's doing a real good thing in the world. He's getting that lady down here, and he's going to make sure that she gets the surgery that she needs, so she's going to be able to live. How fucked is Canada that it takes an American radio guy, TV guy, whatever you want to call him. It takes some fucking guy with a little bit of money to save a human life, because you can't send this lady, fucking 100 miles down the road to another doctor that you have. So, yeah. Anyway, a nice little piece of uplifting news to close us out for the night. And with that, I wish that you all have a wonderful and Merry Christmas. And, of course, my man Craig, you can find him at CraigBob99. I'm Evan. You can find me at That Fake Guy Dan. All the places except Facebook, because, not a big fan of robot lizards. As human approaching as they may become, always going to be a little distrustful. You got to, right? But anyway, thank you kindly for being here. The best wishes and merriest of seasons and holidays to you all. If you'd be so kind as to share the show with anyone that you can, really would mean the most to me. And aside from that, I don't know what else to ask you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. And thanks for being a part to, best show in the sector. Nobody does what we do. So, be well, be safe, be good. Have a Merry Christmas.